Good morning, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Justin, or PBJ, and I hope all of you are genuinely doing fantastic. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I had a very good 4th of July. I'll probably be posting the fireworks show that I did this year, probably sometime after this video or sometime after some of my other videos, so stay tuned for that. And as always, make sure if you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more commentaries, go ahead, subscribe. I'll probably be doing other stuff other than commentaries because I really do want to do other things. But yeah. And also, I also forgetting to mention this, I have a Twitter now. So you guys can actually go follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is @RealPBJ. I'll post stuff on there. It'll be great. I've only just started getting into Twitter, so we'll see. we'll see what happens there. But anyways, let's just jump right into this, ladies and gentlemen. This story time takes place probably, I want to say, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Okay, so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, right, I was on vacation, and I was going to Virginia, Shinkatink, and my mom's side of the family rents out this condo that's like, it's probably about a 5-10 minute drive from the beach, so it's really nice. I was actually staying in a hotel, but that's kind of unrelated to the story here. However, so, so I head over. So like I said, my family was there, so a lot of my cousins were there. I probably had about 4 of my cousins there, so we were all having a good time, right? So probably about the second day we were there, we got to the beach, and then we stayed at the beach for most of the day. Then we headed back to go eat dinner. So while, our parents and grandparents are cooking dinner, one of my younger cousins comes up to me and is like, "Hey, do you wanna go to the park? You wanna see if everybody wants to go to the park?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, that's a great idea." So, I asked my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, they want to go over to the park. Is it okay if I just take them over, be back before dinner?" She's like, "Yeah, just make sure you take your phone just in case if anything happens." So I'm like, "Okay, that sounds good." So I gather up everybody, and, we start walking over. We start walking over to this playground, and this playground is right across the street from the condo. Yeah, it's literally right across the street. It's not even like a 5-minute walk. It's literally across the street. So, I take him over there, and, there's like this giant so there's like 2 sections of this playground, right? There's like this giant pirate ship, and then there's another like a section with like monkey bars and stuff like that. So obviously they're all attracted to this pirate ship, right? So we go over there, and they're my cousins, so I kind of play along with them. I mean, I do want to, it's not like it was torture for me, but like, I was just hanging out with them. They're obviously, imaginating stuff, or if that's even a word, but they're having a good time. We're all having a good time. I didn't really do too much. I was just kind of there, just kind of talking with them and stuff. So they were playing, and this probably about not even like 10 minutes in, right? This kid, like this random kid, just comes out from behind this pavilion, right? And he runs towards this giant pirate ship. And his dad, or what I presumed was his dad, walks over to him and says, "Hey, don't be mean to them. Don't say anything to them." I don't know what he meant by that. But so this kid comes over and he's like, "Hi, my name is," let's call him Michael. "Hi, my name is Michael," or "How are you today?" And I was like, "Oh, we're good. You want to play with him?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to play with you guys." So we're like, okay, and they start playing with them, right? And at this point, all right, I'm getting a little bored, cause like I'm almost 14, right? So like playgrounds aren't like the most exciting thing for me at this point. So I'm like, I'm getting a little bored. So there's like this diamond looking circle dome thing in the middle. So I climb on top of that, and whew. So his dad, or like I said, what I presumed his dad was like wearing these like headphones, but they didn't look like headphones. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like hunting like ear muffs. Um, that's what they kind of looked like. They were like really like big, like bulky headphones. They didn't seem like headphones, but I knew they were headphones because this guy, right, he was obnoxiously singing, like loud enough that if you stepped outside of our porch of our condo, you'd be able to hear him. He was singing abnormally and obnoxiously loud. And I was getting a little put off by that, but I was like, people do that. Yeah, so I was like, okay, nothing to worry about. This dude's just obviously just having a good time, just trying to enjoy himself on vacation. Nothing wrong with that, right? Okay. Well, about 5 minutes later, right, I'm sitting on top of this diamond thing, right? And my oldest cousin comes up to me. I think she's in like third grade or something. She comes up to me. She's like, hey, that guy's acting a little weird. I was like, yeah, he is. He's kind of like singing very loud. But he's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with him. He's like, nobody's smoking. And I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with people smoking. And, her mom even told me that like she gets really put off by people smoking. I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. People smoke all the time. There's nothing wrong with smoking. Uh, you know. So anyways, I was like, oh, don't worry about it. People smoke. And he's like, oh, but no, he's like swearing in the song lyrics. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's probably not something you'd want to do by the playground. But like I said, nothing really wrong with that. Like, nothing wrong with it. I didn't have a problem with this guy. So it's like, okay, don't worry about it. Just try to ignore him. And so she goes over to like the bigger area, not by the pirate ship area. So she goes over with my sister. She heads over to this like bigger playground area. It's like, okay. And I see this guy, right? He's wearing this white shirt, right? And he's probably about 3 feet away from my cousin. Like my younger cousin. His name's, I don't know if I should make his name public, but he said that he was okay with it. So, hi Hayden, how are you? Hope you're good. So anyways, this guy is looking directly at my cousin Hayden. And I'm like I'm not going to interfere because maybe he's just looking at something, but he was like staring at him. And then Hayden turns around, right? And he's just like, they're literally both staring at each other now. And then this guy like turns his head slightly to like try to get the attention away from him. Because at this point, I was looking at him too, to kind of like say, stop looking at him. So then Hayden goes back to playing, right? So then Michael, this little, kid, he goes over to like the big area where my cousin and my sister were, right? And he like goes to the monkey bars or whatever, and he's kind of struggling on the monkey bars, right? And so his presumably dad comes over, right? And like walks over to him and he grabs on to Michael and just starts shaking him violently. Like, you ever seen Animal Crossing when they shake the trees to get the fruit down? That's basically what he freaking did. This guy was like shaking him so like vigorously, like I don't know, it was crazy. And then the kid was like screaming and stuff, It kind of sounded like he was laughing, but I couldn't really tell. But it was like, dude, what are you doing? So then this kid, right, he, like, obviously lets go of the monkey bars because whoever this is his presumable dad. And I say presumable because I'll get into that later. Like, he lets go of the monkey bars and he runs over to the back of the playground where I'm not able to see him for where I'm sitting on this diamond thing, right? So this guy in the white shirt, he's singing his lyrics, and part of the lyrics, he points directly at my younger cousin, and part of the lyrics sing, "Because I love you." And judging by the facial expression on my cousin's face, she was not very happy about that. Like, she had disgust in her face and just turned away and just tried to ignore it. And she goes down the slide, and then she tries to like stay as far away from this guy as possible when she comes back up to me, and she's like, "Hey, that guy's kind of weirding me out. Maybe we should go." I was like, "Yeah, he is kind of a little weird. Why would he do that to you, and like that kid and stuff?" As I say that, right, I hear Michael scream, like, so loud. Everybody at the playground, there was another mother there with their two kids. Like, everybody is looking at that general direction, right? And pretty soon, like, this kid is screaming, and I see these two adults run over to where Michael was. And then I hear heated argument, like I hear argument from this guy in the white shirt and Michael's actual parents. And Michael, during all this, he runs back over to where we were, and we were like, "Dude, what happened there?" He wouldn't exactly tell us, but he just said, "That guy, he was trying to beat me up, so I had to call for Brian," or whatever his dad name was. And I was like, "Okay, yeah, we're getting out of here." So at this point, the other mother, right, that was there with her kids, literally rounds them up, and they're already in the car going back to wherever they were. And I'm like, one of my really younger cousins was like, no, I want to stay. I was like, "No, we got to get out of here. Like, that guy's acting weird." And when we, like, right, so I round him up and I say, "Okay, we're leaving." And I'm glad I got him out of there, because whatever went down with Michael there, I didn't want to happen to them or me. So hopefully, hopefully nothing else happens. So we're walking back, and I thought that was the end of it, right? Yeah, no, nothing could be convenient anymore, right? So we're walking back. We had a good trek back, right? Nothing went wrong. As we were walking back, I saw this guy in his white shirt, right? And he, like, is still arguing, because at this point I'm able to see where they were. So this guy is, like, arguing with Michael's parents. So he, like, tosses down his cigarette, and he tosses down his headphones, and I think the dad was, like, getting ready to pull out his phone or something, probably to call the police for, like, sex offending or something like that. So he, like, sprints out of there, like, as fast as he probably could. He runs out of there. And I don't know where he went, but he went back to where the pavilion was. So I'm like, okay, let's, like, hurry up. So we make it back to the condo all safe, right? And the next day rolls along, and we go to the beach. We have a great time there, as always. And we come back again, and we're like, "Oh, let's go over to the park one more time." It's like, okay. So we head over to the park. So I thought this was the end of it, right? Nope, no, it isn't. So actually nothing happened directly at the park. However, when we were over there, I did notice that there was this like black pickup truck just parked in, and I saw this guy in it. And he wasn't on the phone. He wasn't like you couldn't like see him talking, so some people like to like take calls in their car or something like that. So he wasn't smoking, he wasn't doing anything in his car. He was just sitting there and he was looking at us. And when I looked directly at him, he like quickly pulled out his phone and like pretended like to go through stuff. So I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And I noticed that he had the same headphones that the guy in the white shirt had. So like, oh, well, that's a little weird. So we're hanging out at the park, and I tried to ignore this guy, right? I tried not to bring it up to my cousins because I don't want to freak him out or anything, right? So, my mom texts me. It's like, oh, okay, we got to go back to dinner. So I tell him, okay, let's go eat dinner. So I take him back, and to get to where we were eating dinner at our condo, you had to take a left up the street where the park was, the playground was, and then you had to make a right to get to the condo. So it was to get like the right turn was like a main road, so there were a lot of cars driving by. And as we were walking on the side of the road to make the right turn, the black truck slowly trails behind us. Now, we weren't on the road, obviously. We were, like, on the side of the road. We were actually kind of in the grass, I think, which maybe might not be illegal, might be trespassing, I don't know. But, anyways, this black truck just trails behind us while we're walking back to the condo, right? And we make the turn back to the condo, and we're in the driveway of the condo, and the car slows down to a halt, and this guy pulls down his window, or he doesn't pull down a window, he presses the button, and the window goes down. And at this point, my cousins were like, oh, yeah. So they're basically running at this point, going back in. They didn't know that a black truck was following behind him, although my sister did point it out, so that's why I noticed it. And this guy, right, he looks at me, and I'm looking back at this point because I knew the truck was there. He waves at me, and he has this giant smile on his face, like this wide smirk. And I was like, okay, you know what? Get in. So we all get in, and I didn't tell my parents or their parents about it because I didn't know at the time whether it was him or not. But when I saw he was also wearing a hat, I should mention, the same hat and the same ear headphones. I was like, you know what? That's him. So, yes, that's going to be the end of this story time, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, give a like. Subscribe if you enjoyed. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. If you made it this far in the video, guys, make sure in the comments you type FIES. So I know that you made it this far. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin, or PBJ. Oh, I guess I should tell you the moral of this story. Moral of the story is, if there is a grown adult man that is staring at you or your friends or your cousins, get him the frick out of there. I'm glad I did. I didn't really think of it at the time. As it dawned on me later on, I was like, oh, that's a little strange. And also, don't stare at people who don't get really close to them. So yeah. Anyways, that's the end of this story time, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin, or PBJ. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. And as always, have a nice day.